Hello students, in this video I will teach you chapter number 6 from English Reader. The name of the chapter is This is Jodi's Phone. Now I am going to summarize the chapter to you, and further you are going to read the chapter line by line, and if there is anything you don't understand you can feel free to ask me. I'll start with reading the summary and explaining it to you. Jodi's father Penny was bitten by a rattlesnake. Jodi is the name of a child and Penny is the child's father's name. Two characters have been introduced. So Penny, the father, he was bitten by a rattlesnake. Rattlesnake is a poisonous snake. He quickly killed a doe. Then he used the doe's heart and liver to draw out the poison. So the father had killed a doe. Doe is a female deer, and after killing it, he had taken the doe's heart and liver to remove the poison from his body. And Jodi saw that the doe's baby, a little fawn, was left alone. So the doe was dead and the baby fawn was left. Fawn is a small child of a deer, okay? The thought of fawn kept on haunting Jodi's mind. He quietly went to his father's bedside. Now Jodi was a little child, okay? And he did not like that the mother was killed and the baby fawn was alone. He was actually troubled. His thoughts were troubled because he was constantly thinking about it. So he quietly went to his father's bedside. He asked him how he was feeling. Then he asked him to think about the fawn. He asked him to permit him to bring the fawn home. Jodi wanted to raise him. So now after the child, Jodi had gone to his father. He asked him if he is feeling well and later told him that the fawn is alone and he wanted to seek permission so that he could bring the fawn home and he could raise it like a child and take care of it. So basically Jodi wanted the fawn to become a pet for him so that he can take care of him because the fawn's mother was dead. At first, Penny was in a dilemma. Jodi argued that raising the fawn would not be a burden. So at first, Penny, the father, he was wondering if he should give permission or not. But Jodi argued that it will not be a problem if we raise a baby fawn at home. Fawn could drink Jodi's milk until he started eating leaves and acorns. Jodi also said that his family was responsible for the fawn's plight. Penny agreed that it would be ungrateful to leave the fawn to starve. So now Jodi says that the fawn could drink his portion of milk so that he's not going to be empty stomach, and he can keep doing that until he starts eating leaves and acorns. And then Jodi also told him that his father, that it is their family who was responsible for the baby being alone without his mother because they killed his mother. So later on Penny agreed that he should not be leaving the fawn to starve all alone without a mother. So he gave Jodi his permission. So Jodi got the permission. He asked him to tell his mother about it before going to bring the fawn in. And Penny tells Jodi to go and tell Mama about it so that she knows already that there is going to be a fawn at their home. Jodi came to the table and sat down very quietly. The mother was pouring coffee in the cups. So now Jodi goes towards his mother and tries talking to her about it. So when he goes near the table, he sits down very quietly, and at that time the mother, she was pouring coffee in the cups. She was taken aback when Jodi talked of bringing the fawn home. Seeing the mother reluctant, Jodi told what his father had said. He said that Penny had said it would be ungrateful to leave the fawn to starve. So when she gets to know that a fawn is going to come home, she was not happy about it. But as soon as Jodi realizes that she is not happy, so he had told her what his father said to him. He said that Penny had told it will not be a nice thing to leave the child alone and he will be starving without his mother. He will not have any food and it is not a good thing. Dr. Wilson and Millville helped Jodi before the mother could say anything. Dr. Wilson spoke. He told Jodi's mother that nothing in the world comes quite free. He meant that they must pay some price for having taken the life of Doe. Before Jodi could say anything further, Mr. Wilson, who is a doctor, and Millville, they decide to help Jodi and take his side. So Dr. Wilson spoke first. He told the mother that nothing comes for free because you have taken the life of the deer, it is your responsibility now to raise the fawn and make sure that he gets food on time, along with proper care. Millville chipped in. He offered to take Jody on his horse to the forest. The mother felt helpless. She only told Jody that he could give the fawn his milk. She would not give him anything else to feed the fawn. So now Millville, he interrupted and he told mother that he could take Jody to the forest on his horse, and the mother was helpless. She did not have anything to say. So the only thing she told was that Jody is going to give his portion of the milk to the fawn, and he will not get anything else apart from that to feed him. Millville mounted his horse. He sat Jody behind him on the horse. Jody assured his mother, Ma Baxter, that he would be back before dinner. So after convincing Mama, he had actually sat on the horse behind Millville, and he told his mother, Jody told his mother, that he will be back home before dinner, and the name of mother was Baxter. Now Millville asked Jody how he knew that the fawn was male. Jody said that the spots on the fawn were all in a line. This indicated that the fawn was male. So now Millville had asked how Jody knew that if the fawn was a male, and Jody said that it had spots which were in a line, and these spots indicate that the fawn was a male. So this one was part 1 of the story. I hope you have understood till here. Let's continue to the second part. Once in the forest, Jody wanted Millville to go back. He wanted to be alone with the fawn. There were 2 reasons. So once they reached the forest, Jody wanted Millville to go back home because he wanted to be left alone with the fawn. Now there were 2 reasons. First, it was possible that Jody might not get the fawn, for the fawn might have died or not been found. In that case, he would not like Millville to see his disappointment. So the first reason was, in case the fawn was not found or if he died, the boy Jody would have been disappointed, and he did not want Millville to see him that way. And secondly, if he met the fawn, the meeting would be very lovely and secret. He would not like to share it with anyone else. So the second reason was, in case Jody found the fawn, he would have been very happy and it would have been a very lovely and secret meeting, and Jody did not want to share this feeling with anybody else. So these were the 2 reasons why Jody did not want Millville to stay back in the forest. So Jody asked Millville to go. He said that the scrub was too thick for the horse to get through. Millville was, however, afraid to leave Jody alone. So when Jody had asked Millville to go back, Millville had told that the bushes were too thick for the horse to return again, so it was going to be difficult for the horse. And also, Millville was scared of letting the boy alone in the forest. He said that Jody could be lost in the forest or bitten by the snake. Millville says that Jody might get lost in the forest or he might have been bitten by a snake. Jody, however, said Millville didn't have to worry. He would be careful, so Millville went back. So then Jody said Millville that he's going to take good care of himself, so he does not have to worry. So after listening to all these things, Millville decided to go back and he went. So that was it about the second part. Moving on to the third one. After a while, Jody came to the carcass of the doe. So after a while of searching in the forest, Jody came across the carcass. Carcass is the dead body of the doe. The fawn was not found nearby. So the baby fawn was not there nearby the dead body of the mother. He tried to look for the small hoof prints, but in vain. He tried to look at the footprints of the fawn, but it was all a waste. He could not find it. Then there was some movement directly in front of him. Jody was overjoyed to see his fawn. It was shaky, but it didn't try to rise or run. Suddenly there was a movement in front of Jody and the fawn was there. The fawn was shaky. Shaky means he was scared and he was shivering, and he did not get up or run from there, the fawn. Jody laid his hand on the fawn's soft neck. He was very happy to feel it. So Jody was comforting the fawn by putting his hand on the fawn's neck, and he was very happy to feel it, Jody. Jody lifted him up from the grass very softly. He feared that the sight of its mother's carcass might agitate him. So then quietly and very slowly Jody had taken the fawn into his arms, and he feared that if the fawn would see the dead body of his mother, he will not like it, he would agitate, he would be sad. So he avoided the clearing and went through the bushes. So he went from that area and shifted to the bushes. It was a difficult walk. He was carrying the fawn in his arms, so it was difficult for him to walk because the fawn was in his arms. It was a long walk. He reached the trail. Then he came to the road that could take him home. Now he stopped to rest. So finally, from the bushes area, he came to the roadside, and he had reached there to rest for a while because he was tired and the baby fawn was also in his arms. He put the fawn down. It bleated and looked at Jody. Jody was charmed. "I'll carry you after I get my breath," he said. His father had told him that a fawn would follow if it had first been carried. So Jody had put the fawn down because he was tired, and his father had told him that if you carry a fawn in your arms for a while and then keep it down, then wherever you go, the fawn will follow you. The fawn will go right after you. So he started slowly. So Jody had started walking slowly, but the fawn did not move. The fawn did not follow him. So he came back to pick him up. He went ahead carrying the fawn in his arms. He could not go very far. He was too tired. So because the fawn was not following him, he had to carry it, and he could not go too far because he was very tired. This time, however, the fawn followed him as he walked on. So because he was very tired, he had again taken a break and kept the fawn down. But this time the fawn had followed Jody. So after a while, he allowed it to walk a little. Then he picked it up again. He reached at the gate of his home carrying the fawn. So finally, the fawn had started following him, and they had reached the gate of their home. And when they reached, the fawn was already there in Jody's arms. At the gate, Jody had an idea. He would walk into his father's room with the fawn after him, but at the steps the fawn would not come up. So Jody reached his father's bed with the fawn on him. Jody showed his father the fawn. The father was glad that Jody had found what he wanted. So at the gate, Jody had an idea that he would walk and the fawn would follow, but it did not happen that way. So Jody had carried the fawn to his father's room, and the father was very happy because finally Jody had found what he was looking for. Jody offered milk to the fawn. The milk was in the gourd. So Jody had given his portion of the milk to the fawn, and the milk was in the gourd. Gourd is a kind of utensil. The fawn could not drink it. Then Jody dipped his fingers in the milk and thrust them into the fawn's soft mouth. So the fawn could not drink from that particular container. So Jody had dipped his fingers in the milk and had put his fingers in the fawn's mouth. The fawn drank the milk greedily. So the fawn had drank milk greedily because maybe he was hungry. Then he lowered his fingers into the gourd. The fawn drank from the gourd now. So this time again Jody had put his fingers in the gourd, and the fawn had started drinking from that particular container only. He did not need the fingers. So this is how the chapter comes to an end. The child did not like the feeling that the baby was left alone without the mother. So he tries his best to convince his father and bring the fawn home so that he could take care of it, and it successfully happened, and the story now comes to an end. I hope everything has been understood. Please read the chapter line by line, and if there is anything you don't understand, you can feel free to ask me. So that's it for the video. Thank you so much for your patience, all of you.